Gary Gygax's 1977 Monster Manual established a top-down standard for advanced Dungeons & Dragons. It was a cohesive vision built on Tolkien-esque high fantasy and classical myths, a world defined by dragons and goblins. In the UK, players were pushing against those boundaries. They wanted a darker, more experimental atmosphere that blended science fiction with cosmic horror, a grim-dark sensibility the official American rules didn't yet accommodate. This transatlantic divide turned the British gaming scene into a pressure cooker. Eventually, the demand for weird, genre-bending content forced a rupture in D&D's high fantasy identity. That rupture arrived in 1981 with the Fiend Folio. It looked like an official hardcover, but it was missing the signature Advanced Dungeons & Dragons trademark on the title page. American purists reacted with immediate hostility, and TSR eventually distanced itself from the book. When the company rebranded its core line in 1983 with the iconic orange spine covers, the Fiend Folio was the only hardcover left out. But despite this corporate exile, the book introduced the specific lore and mechanical ecologies that define the game's modern multiverse. The book's contents weren't developed in-house by TSR. It was a crowdsourced collection of over 1,000 fan submissions to the British magazine White Dwarf. TSR viewed this external creativity as a threat. Aggressive legal maneuvers forced Games Workshop to transfer all monster copyrights directly to TSR Hobbies. This blocked Citadel Miniatures from selling models of the creatures they helped develop, as TSR's existing American contracts took precedence. The resulting dispute over fees and distribution rights froze the project, delaying the book's release for 2 years. The Fiend Folio forced D&D to transition from a single creator monolith into a more collaborative, if legally messy, property. It set a precedent where fan-created content could and would be absorbed into the official canon. The visual shift was immediate. Russ Nicholson replaced clean, heroic American art with a gritty pen and ink style. Their monsters looked scabrous, asymmetrical, and diseased. The Slaadi exemplify the mechanical focus on cosmic horror. They manifest as massive bipedal amphibians existing as pure, chaotic biology within the plane of entropy. Instead of physical combat, the astral searcher targets the character's consciousness. A successful attack means permanent possession. The player's personality is erased and replaced by the entity, effectively killing them without losing a single hit point. But the book also featured a jarring silly season. Mixed in with the horror were absurd fan creations like the telepathic flumph jellyfish and the flail snail, breaking the serious medieval tone. Ed Greenwood and other high-profile American critics slammed the book for its broken mechanics and goofy naming conventions. This backlash led TSR to effectively orphan the book during its next major corporate rebrand. While the tonal whiplash frustrated purists, it provided dungeon masters with an unpredictable toolkit that expanded the narrative possibilities of a standard campaign. These strange concepts survived TSR's attempts to bury them because they filled massive gaps in the game's existing cosmology. Early lore treated the astral and ethereal planes as empty voids. The Fiend Folio transformed them into living ecosystems. Charles Stross added the Githyanki and Githzerai, using their violent schism to introduce a permanent Cold War to the multiverse. It codified the undead Death Knight, provided frameworks for the Drow, and the Subterraneans for Neblin. The Fiend Folio became a functional blueprint for the complex, interconnected planes that modern players now take for granted. Over the last 4 decades, the game's official canon has steadily integrated these outsiders. The once mocked monsters now appear as standard entries in every modern bestiary. Lore from the Fiend Folio, specifically the Githyanki war against the Mind Flayers, now serves as the central narrative engine for games like Baldur's Gate 3. These ideas evolved from rough sketches in a British fanzine into the primary antagonists in player races that drive the current D&D ecosystem. Ultimately, D&D's longevity wasn't secured by protecting a single creator's vision. It survived by absorbing the chaotic, genre-bending imagination of its players.